Well, hey, everybody, it is a Thursday. Heading to work, got stuff to do, hold down the fort and all that shit. It's been a while since I've done anything driving. Thought I'd change it up a little bit. I've found that I can do it at the office using my laptop, and it works out pretty good also. But I haven't taken you guys for a drive for a while to listen to me cry and complain about having to work for a living. That's what happens in America. So I was watching a great video, and if I can find it again, because it's just one of those things that pop up, and I was like, "Oh, cool, I'll watch that." So I can't remember what it is. I'll have to go into the history, find a link, because it was actually quite fascinating, and it talked about China's Belt and Road Initiative, or uh, BRI. They've changed it to an acronym, and and I'm watching it thinking, we've been conditioned and programmed, I don't know, pretty much all our lives to hate China. Anybody that's not American, we should hate them. Not just dislike them or distrust them or trust but verify with them, but just flat out not like them because we are America. And for the last, I don't know, probably 70 to 100 years, we have been going around the world being America. And when they finally dragged us into World War One and Two, um, we were pretty reluctant to do that, but we had become a economic and manufacturing superpower, really. So we got drug into it, and then we became intoxicated with the power of being this really strong military because we had such an industrial complex going on that we were able to, build tanks and munitions and ships and all that really quick. And so I guess that kind of went to our heads. And we thought, God dang. It's kind of like the kid in, freshman year of high school. He's a scrawny little wimp, keeps getting his ass kicked and getting his lunch taken. And then eventually he starts working out, and getting more and more buff. And, he's not an asshole. He's still a nice guy, but he starts, getting bigger and bigger. By the time he's senior year in high school, he's you know, pretty well built. He's grown into his body, and he's become kind of an asshole, you know. Whereas before he was nice enough, and sure he got picked on, but everyone gets picked on. But this has become his excuse to be an asshole now. And when he's an asshole, if anyone says anything, he can literally kick their ass. Let's say he's a black belt in 5 or 6 martial arts now, and he just really went all out. He's a badass. But he's not the good badass that you want on your side or your team because he's become kind of a douchebag. He's just a fucking idiot. But he can kick everyone's ass. You know. And the story kind of stops there as far as the analogy. I mean, he could go to college and meet other guys that could kick his ass. But we're not talking about that yet. He's still summer break now from high school. He's getting ready to go to college. He hasn't learned that there's bigger, badder guys in college around the world. And so he's in this, like, I'm tough, I'm cool, I'm bad. And he's kind of like Biff, in Back to the Future. He's just a fucking idiot. That is America after World War II. We were the tough guys. We were strong. We were powerful. We could push our attitude and our opinion around and back it up. And we had, the dollar and everything was just on our side. So this Biff dude, not only is well built and strong and can kick everyone's ass, but he's good looking and he's got money. So there's really, it's hard to get around that type of object in your life. Well, that's us. You know, we're dealing with that now. And as you and I, as Americans, we have bought into this thing because we hang out with Biff. He's our friend, so he doesn't beat us up. But we don't realize that throughout the many, many, many years of living in Biff's house, that attitude has rubbed off on us, and we're kind of like the little kid in school. It's like, stop messing with me, I'll tell my brother. And then we became the kid that's not even being picked on. He just uses that now as a way to get what he wants. It's like, hey, give me your lunch money, or I'll get my brother to kick your ass. And so everybody knows that Biff's a badass, and you live with Biff, so here's my lunch. Sorry, man. And that's become us, these little underlings under the Biff of America. And it's kind of true, when you really look around. So the rest of the world has kind of allowed us to live in our little fucking bubble of America, going around thinking we're cool and all that. And for a long time we were. Even though we were Biff type dicks, we were the only Biff in town, on the world stage. And so everybody started bowing down to America and joining our little fucking groups and our alliances and stuff, and fighting these unjust wars because you just don't fuck with Biff. You don't want to get Biff mad. If he says, hey, I'm going to go in that bar and start a fight, you got my back? Right. Yeah, sure, because it never really goes anywhere to where you got to, actually get your ass kicked. So the world has been that way. They've been Biff's friends. And so when we wanted to go into Iraq, it's like, who's with me? Who's got my back? Oh, we will. And, sure, a lot of soldiers died. But, the royal family did not get hurt. Tony Blair is still around spewing bullshit. So, whatever. It's just fucked up. So all of a sudden, while we were biffifying the fucking United States, the world, and everything that we could touch, the Biff touch, instead of the golden touch, Midas touch, we were the Biff touch. Russia and China have been just going about their business. It's like, we don't really want war anymore. Russia collapsed. I mean, the Soviet Union fell the fuck apart. They are no longer communist. And if anyone tells you Russia's a communist country, they are idiots. Don't walk away from the conversation. Run, because you're being talked to by a moron. And if you want to get into an argument about it with them, you're really getting into a battle of wits with an unarmed opponent, but they will drag you down their dirt road alley and beat you to death with their own stupidity. So fucking run. Russia is not communist anymore since the 90s when they collapsed. China learned that being a complete communist country produces nothing. And so therefore they have no exports. And China went, well, we have to do things and we have to export trinkets and baubles. And a communist country would go, you don't need pink widgets. Shut up. Sit down. Do your job. But see, they wanted to become producers. And so when we granted them trade status, they just took off. They didn't sit around and wait to get barking orders from Biff. There's a bam. They were gone. And you can call it whatever you want, but it's still, communist. They got the Communist Party. Kind of a little bit more extreme than the American Biff Party, because we're being controlled also. I mean, I can't just add on to my house. I can't just go over, over yonder there and go, look at that piece of property. I'm gonna buy that and get some grazing rights and raise cattle. No, you can't do that. You can't build a factory in your shop because your whiny ass woke fucking neighbors are going, he's got UPS coming more than twice a day, and I've been checking it. And then they shut you down. Not that they could legally shut you down, but we have become the people that cower to the word of Biff and Biff's underlings. So we're like, oh, okay, okay. So you can't do anything. So really, we might as well be as communist as China is now. Now, China has modified it to like a communist socialist. And see, normally you go from a free country like America into socialism and then bam, you collapse and fall into communism. China's been around like 6,000 fucking years. So they're starting to figure this out, and they're trying to pull themselves out of the communist mud pit into maybe let's try to back it down to socialism, and then once we get the mud cleaned off of us, we can become a little more free market-ish. So they got their beliefs, but so do we. So does France. So does everyone. I mean, French people still eat certain weird shit that we won't, but that's just cultural differences. So if you look at the world through this Biff lens, China is wrong, Russia is wrong. They want to dominate the world as if we don't. And that's the problem. Therein lies the rub. We as Americans don't realize that our leadership is I don't know how, lying to us. China bad, Russia bad, Ukraine good, Russia bad. And we're in this bubble running around, and because now we're so biffified, we're just like, okay, yeah. And as long as we can pay our bills, because Biff takes our lunch money now too, we're okay. Biff, I got $5 for lunch, and you're gonna take $2.50. I can live with that. I can buy a smaller lunch. Thanks for letting me keep half of my money, which is what's happening in America. So back to this video I watched, and I really, really, really recommend you click on the link. I will put a link in there and watch it, because China is investing billions of dollars with their BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. So they've gone in and pretty much now are of controlling interest in Africa and this deal with Saudi Arabia and Iraq and all this. But when you look at the fine print in all these deals, there's no strings attached really, other than, hey, it's a loan, pay it back. And we're going to build up your infrastructure. We're going to bring you along with us on the success train. We're taking you with us. And as long as you do it the way we say to do it, because we kind of own it, kind of like a venture capitalist, you'll run your business the way they tell you. You will have a manager, a CEO, and you will pay yourself. None of this bootstrap shit, because they don't want you to fail. China's doing that with Iraq and Africa and these rail systems they're building all over. They're just saying, hey, we don't want to micromanage your fucking lifestyle. We don't want to get involved in your geopolitical crap. We don't want to tell you how to live. We don't want to tell you to be communist or free market or Muslim or Christian. We don't want to get involved in your internal affairs. Just fucking do this and do it this way so we get our reward for it. And they're doing it for oil also. But hey, so did we, So don't even give me that high ground, because when you really look across the plains of the world, America's high ground is actually setting in a valley, and it's not that fucking high. We're just all Biffites, and we can't see far enough around to go, oh, we're on top of the hill. No, we're on top of this wee little hill. So China is investing billions of dollars into Iraq. They're going to build 3,000 schools, 2,000 hospitals and clinics. They're rebuilding this giant train system, or building a train system that will, once a year when they go to Mecca and this other place, that they will be able to take these high-speed rails. So it just helps them live their life better. And I'm sitting there telling my wife, I was like, wow, they're going to spend $50-60 billion on this project. We spent over $1 trillion or more in Iraq and Afghanistan, fucking it up. And we didn't even offer to help them. Well, we said we wanted them to become a democracy, and we had this myopic view of what we think a democracy is, which America is not a fucking democracy. I hate to fucking rain on your parade there, politicians, but we're not a democracy. So these other countries are looking at it and going, well, if this is your idea of help, then I'll pass. It's like I move into your house to help you stop fighting with your wife, and then all of a sudden I'm sleeping with your wife and your daughters. That's kind of how fucked up it is. And then we're like, well, we're trying to make a polygamous society out of you. And you're like, I understand life enough to know that you are fucking wrong. Get out of my house. But see, you can't kick Biff out of your house because he will just beat you into submission and burn your house down with you in it. And your wife and kids too. Fuck you. And leave. And that's what we did in Iraq. Here comes China. They're like, hey, we'll build all this stuff for you because we do want to have an exchange of oil. You got one of the largest oil producing places in OPEC here. We will be your number one customer. And you'll be making enough money because we're going to pull you out of poverty and ignorance into the new world of technology and commerce that you'll be able to pay this $600-700 billion loan back like that. And they're like, okay, thank you. Because you see, well, I think, wasn't it Baghdad used to be one of them famous cities in the Bible, like Bethlehem or something like that? But it was pretty much, a really good growing, country. So they had all different religions living with them. See, the Muslims weren't what the English people portrayed them to be, during the Crusades. Maybe they had a better understanding of what God wanted than these fucking uppity, kings and monarchs in England and Spain and stuff that started this, fucking Crusades. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm pretty sure if you did a deep, deep, deep fucking drive into history without reading any bullshit slant from America or even the Middle East and just looked into history, you would find out that really their growth of the Muslim nation, might have scared a lot of people because they were, becoming the fastest growing religion in the world. But so the fuck what? Back then, these cities allowed Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, everyone to live freely and conduct commerce. Rome started that way. It was all about commerce and just people living their fucking lives. Don't screw with us. We won't screw with you. Pay your taxes. Shut up. Make money. So China is doing things in the world that we're just hearing about. This Belt and Road Initiative has been going on since the BRICS 10, 15 years ago. China has been building their new belt and their new road for years before you and I became aware of politics. And they're doing it for their reason. And if you don't learn their reason, you're going to be caught with your pants down on the wrong side of history. So while we are sinking into the abyss because of our own Biff ignorance, the rest of the world is actually growing. Their economies are getting stronger. Their people are becoming more free. In Russia, they own private property. Not like you and I think we own private property, because if you miss your property tax, they take it. After 3 years, it's gone. Everything you work for, gone. So they don't do that in a lot of these other countries. So the rest of the world is now gravitated to that light on the hill. We are not the light on the hill. The light on the hill is freedom and prosperity and the ability, I guess in the war in heaven, the right of people to freely choose what they want. We come in like Satan and it's like, we'll make them a democracy and we'll drag them back into democracy and freedom, kicking and screaming. And if they don't like it, well, we'll subjugate them into slavery. Oh, but I thought you wanted them to be free. Shut up and sit down, plebe. So the light on the hill is not what we thought it was. And we are not it for the last 50 years, probably. So I'm watching this stuff thinking, well, fuck. You know, with all that work going on out there, I mean, there's billions of dollars being spent everywhere. Not here, but everywhere. It's like, fuck, you want to get a good job welding or doing masonry or anything, trucking, transportation, carpet laying, carpentry, move to the fucking Middle East and Saudi Arabia, where they're building that city that's like called the Line, that's going to employ, I don't know, 200,000 people just in its construction. There's jobs there. No, I'm going to stay here in America. I wouldn't live with all them fucking rice eaters. Fuck that. I hate them. Why? I don't know any of them. I don't know. I hate them. So it's a wake-up call when people look around and go, holy shit, I've been lied to. It's like being married for, I don't know, 50, 60 years, the better part of your life, like I've heard in all these movies. I gave him the best years of my life. You know, I gave her everything, the best years of my life. And find out from day one of the honeymoon, your spouse was banging someone else. And you never knew that she or he was lying to you, taking your money, laughing at you with all your friends and all this stuff, and kept this illusion going for 50 years. And then one day you just wake up and go, fuck me. Talk about using me for the best years of my life. You know, generations have grown and died in America thinking that they were in a stable relationship, in a marriage, only to find out that America has been sleeping around and fucking us over for 50 straight years. And you're just like, what? Really? Yep, sorry. Wake up, Mark. Bam. So, I don't know. You know, what can I tell you? It's like, there's more to life out there than we see. There's more to religion than just a church. There's more to loving God than just going and praying. You know, and sure, you know, the Muslims, they pray 5 times a day and all that. But, you know, it is shocking to find out that when they realize that the Quran never told them that, they're like, holy shit. Because they can't read. They can't read because they let their mullahs and all that. And if one of them mullahs is corrupt, you get millions of corrupt Muslims doing the wrong thing. Just like in America, we can't think. Well, actually, we can't read either. So we don't read the Constitution in its simplicity. We let the media tell us what the Constitution says and means and thinks. So we're no different. Don't sit there and laugh at them. So, you know, if China's in there and say, well, we're going to bring your education level up fucking super high. And you know, a lot of these Muslims that, you know, you might consider good Muslims might learn to read the Quran themselves and find out that being a good person and not killing the infidel is actually what Allah preached. Then, you know, they might turn on you and say, that's okay. We always believed that a long time ago, but we've become corrupted. See, it's like someone coming to America and fucking dunking your head under the constitutional water of life and going, see that? And then you go, well, fuck, there's only 3,000 words or thereabouts in the Constitution. Why didn't I read this sooner? It's like, because you were brainwashed. You were biffified. So don't laugh at these other countries. See, Russia's figured it out. They flat out fucking collapsed under communism. And it was Putin and his group of people that, you know, are around him now, and the Duma and stuff, that are like, you know what, if we do it this way, we will do really well. And they started doing what we did 240 years ago, being free and stuff. And now all of a sudden, they're producing more tanks in a day than we can produce in a week because they're at war and they're tired of getting fucked with. So they're like, leave us alone and let us do our thing. And what's happening is we can't stand that. See, we're Biff, and we can't stand the fact that this other guy that's also been lifting weights all fucking summer, he's actually stronger, nicer, and more polite. We don't like him talking to all of the girls that we thought were in our little fucking harem, but they're not. So the Russia's talking to the world, China's talking to the world, and going, here's what we can do for you. We won't come in with all these fucking build democracy bullshit lies that they tell you in America that they don't even have because they're uneducated. It's kind of like trying to convert somebody to be let's say you're a Mormon and you're on a mission and you're trying to teach people to be Mormon, but you're a fucking Catholic. And they're like, dude, you go to Mass. Why are you talking about? Well, don't do what I do. Do what I say. Become a Mormon. Why? Well, I can't explain it to you why I'm a hypocrite. So these countries are smart. They look at us and go, you say you're a democracy. We don't want to be a democracy because mankind learned that democracies were self-destructive and end up committing suicide as a society within 50 to 60 years, since we became a democracy, it's been 50, 60 years ago, we are collapsing. We are committing suicide. We are dying the same way civilizations have done for probably thousands of years. And so these other countries are like, but don't you understand? You're not a democracy. You're a republic. Well, yeah, that's an old term. We're a republic. We're a democratic republic. We're a this. We're a that. We elect people democratically, but we're a republic. Don't pay attention to the details, And they're not stupid. These people are not stupid. That's our problem. We think they're stupid, and they're not. And they're looking at it going, you're just blowing smoke up my ass. And because you're Biff and you can kick my ass, I'm just going to sit there and nod and go, uh-huh. But I'm not buying the bullshit. So, there's a lot of people waking up to this around the world. And when China comes to your impoverished company, like the way we left Iraq, just broken, busted, fucked up, failing infrastructure and everything, we're like, bye. And China's like, hey, you got oil. We buy a lot of oil. In fact, we'll be your number one customer, and you won't have to really worry about advertising and finding more customers. We'll buy every drop you can produce if you want. And we won't meddle in your pricing or whatever. We want a fair deal because we're your exclusive customer. But hey, we want you to make money. In fact, we're going to rebuild your infrastructure because we got a fucking grip of cash over here. And we're going to use it, we're going to use those American dollars that are shit, and we're going to use it to buy gold. And build your country up. And they're like, fine, I don't care where you get the money. I don't care if you're a mafia guy. Just fucking help me out. Don't shoot me. And so the whole world is waking up. It's like that show I watched about Mystery Babylon and how in the end days, the weapon of iniquity, which is probably self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head because we are so fucking full of iniquity in America and ignorance and lack of ability to understand what, is really required of us as a human fucking being, then it says after the weapon of iniquity, when all of the planes and technology fall from the sky, it doesn't say planes, but it, kind of says planes, does it mean that it'll be an EMP or something? Because most military planes are hardened against EMP anyways. That wouldn't really be it. They just fall from the sky because we can't afford gas to fuel them. We don't have pilots anymore trained that aren't woke, wearing maternity shirts while they fly a jet, because we become so stupid that they just crash into the ground because it's like, what am I doing? Oh, look, Mom, I'm a pilot. Woo! Bam, lawn dart into the fucking yard. Then all of the nations in the world unloose all their arrows and slings and spears, or whatever the scripture says, at Mystery Babylon. Now you think, well, that's fucked up. I mean, that's missiles and bombs and stuff. No, maybe not. Maybe it's just they turn their back and they scorn us and they dust their feet off and go, never again will we talk to you. We won't send you food or milk or metal or jobs or anything. You're on your own. You want some gold? Dig it out of the fucking ground yourself. Kill your leaders in Washington or whatever the fuck you gotta do to get your head so far out of your ass that you can see something besides brown and realize the sky is actually blue. Then maybe we'll help you. Maybe that's what that scripture talks about. Maybe it's not a weapon of iniquity. It's just a weapon that we turn against ourselves called iniquity, and we destroy ourselves. We self-destruct with this weapon. And when all the other nations turn against us, that doesn't mean they have to do anything to us other than stop fucking buying our bullshit. And then we die. We literally die. So, think about that. Watch this video. It's just one of thousands that are out there, but it was really kind of interesting because I've been studying a lot about the Belt and Road Initiative and really trying to understand China's goals. Are their real goals to just fuck us over? No, they're not even talking to us. They're the ones, while the world is out there and America's bombing shit, China is building. I saw a meme today. It's like, while America bombs, China builds. And you're like, holy fuck, if that is true, that is a slap in the fucking face. And it is. It is true. We are doomed and dying. And we're just, unfortunately, too fucking dumb to realize it. So I hope you guys all have a great day. Talk to you all later. Love you. Bye-bye.
We made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back.
I'm your huckleberry.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
That's just my game.